Hello, everybody. Sorry, speaking so low, but all right, I'm locking in. I am about to speak about following God into the storm. And what does it mean when we say we give our lives for God and I give our lives to Jesus? Sometimes we have experiences with God, and then when we choose to say, you know what, I'm going to put all my eggs in this basket right here. We think it's always going to be all the good things and blessings. My life is going to turn around. My life is going to be changed forever, which is all true. But it never changes the way you think it's going to change or how you think it's going to happen. We have no idea what God has in store for his children that follow him wholeheartedly. It goes beyond what you can ever imagine. And sometimes how it happens, how he wants it to happen, man, you want to talk about having faith. You want to talk about having faith. You need it. It's the only way you're going to see it through. Because God's not going to do it the way you think it's going to happen, and he's not going to do it your way. He doesn't march to the beat of our drum. We have to march to the beat of his. And no one's above that. And I want to illustrate that before I really get into this message, that no one is above that. God does not move to the beat of your drum. Never has, never will. If you think God does everything based on what you want him to do, I don't know what God you're serving. Just want to get that clear and out of the way. God's all-knowing, not us. God is all-powerful, not us. God is all-merciful, not us. God is full of grace, not us. But God teaches us how to walk in his grace. God teaches us how to walk in his power. God teaches us how to walk in his wisdom and understanding. He teaches us how to do those things. But so, all right, I'm going to get to the message. That was following Jesus in the storm. I was reading in Matthew 8. Well, before that, just to say Matthew. All the chapters leading up to chapter 8. And we have the Sermon on the Mount going from chapters 5 to 7. And he's just teaching them. And then 8 starts to tell us about the things he was doing after his teaching. He was cleanses a leper. He heals a centurion servant. He heals Peter's mother-in-law. Many are healed. He's casting out demons. And now, natural reaction, when you see this, you would want to follow this guy, right? Because you think, we have this idea that that's how it's always going to be if I follow this guy. We always going to experience these things. The casting out of demons, healings, miracles, signs, and wonders. In you going with this expectation that this is always going to be like this following Jesus. And then I read this passage in Matthew 8:23. It says, now when he got into the boat, it says his disciples followed him. I want to stop right there. It doesn't say, Jesus, come on, guys, we're about to go in the boat. We're going to go. No, Jesus didn't say anything. He just got on the boat. His disciples followed him willfully. And suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves. They followed Jesus, not knowing where they were going. But mind you, they witnessed all these other things. So do you think they're expecting some kind of storm? Do you think they're expecting some kind of trouble? No. They followed Jesus right into the storm. Jesus knew the storm was coming. and he went to sleep. You think Jesus didn't know about the storm? Jesus didn't avoid it. He didn't find a way around it. He knew what was going to happen. The disciples followed him, had no idea what was happening, had no idea they were about to follow Jesus right into a storm. See, if they knew about that storm, do you think they would have been so quick to get on that boat? And that's some of us. We try to figure out God. We're trying to figure out God first, instead of just following him, regardless, and just believing. They followed Jesus. I'm pretty sure they was not expecting this. But Jesus was, it says that, but he was asleep. Then his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we are perishing. But he said to them, why are you fearful, O you of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. Look, his first reaction was, why you guys are so fearful? If you followed Jesus, if you followed me, and you believe who I am, this is, I believe, the perspective that Jesus has. Why did you think your life was in danger at all? You're with me. You followed me. You think I'm going to lead you into a ditch? You think I'm going to lead you into a dire situation? Because what was Jesus doing? While the storm was going on, he was asleep. Why didn't any of them say, wow, he's sleeping? Just lay down next to him and start sleeping. If my master's sleeping, obviously this storm is not that big of a deal to him, so it should not be that big a deal to me. Sometimes we will follow God, and God will be leading us right into a storm. But if my God led me into the storm, my God will lead me right out. You know what I'm saying? That's the faith. If God led me into the storm, then he'll lead me right out. That really hit me. Like, I know, I'm like, there's a reason why it's worded. The writer of Matthew, the writer, wrote this and put this story in, and look, and the words he used. And the words that got me was, now when he got into the boat, his disciples followed him. Why is he making this? It's like there's an emphasis on this. He wants us to know that his disciples followed him. It's making a note that he followed him on a boat. If you go to chapters before, we already understand that he met his disciples and they followed him. We would think you don't need to reiterate that they're following him, but he's reiterating that they followed him on a boat. Look, Jesus doesn't beg you to follow him. He's not going to plead with you. He makes himself, when he reveals himself, he makes himself known to you. We have a choice. And sometimes, God, I know this. God will never do anything that brings harm or that will lead you into destruction. Everything God does for you leads you to life, even when you don't understand it. That's what I do know. And sometimes there are things that you think it's too hard, like, oh, this is crazy. But you have to trust God. He knows what he's doing. Got to trust him in the storm. You can't just trust him outside the storm. You got to trust him in the storm. This is why he says, why are you so fearful, O you little faith? It's so easy to trust God outside the storm, but do you trust God inside the storm? Do you trust him? What speaks for you? Your faith in God or your fear of this world? Just a thought. And just hopefully, by the grace of God, this message is clear of what's being said. Gotta trust him, man. He knows what he's doing. If God leads you into a storm, he will lead you right out. And you will come out better than you were before entering that storm. And that's why God is so amazing. You'll come out better and not even know it. You come out different. All right. Have a good day.